I got another Tip Tuesday video for you guys today, and this tip will literally save you $100 because that's why you're on this side of the table. Blackjack Apprenticeship, as you're going to see here, is about to raise their prices. All right. So as I kind of zoom in on this, you'll see here, this is Blackjack Apprenticeship's website, and it says that our prices will increase on April 19th, 2024. Okay. Currently, it is the 16th. So you have 2 more days of this price before on Friday. I think this is going to go up a little bit. In fact, if you hit learn more, it says that their prices are going to go up about $100. So that apprentice price, it's going to go up to $597. If we go back, it was at $497. And so again, my tip to you, some of you that are trying to become serious about card counting, I'm going to tell you that if you use the link in the pinned comment of this video, you will save that $100 before Friday. And also, I will throw in my basic strategy flashcards for you guys, which you've seen on this channel quite a bit, all right, as well as my deviation flashcards for the illustrious 18, all right? So you have also seen those before. These are the red ones, the basic strategy are the blue. I will give those to you for free. So there's a little bit of incentive there, along with the extra $100 cheaper that's going to be before the next couple of weeks or before next week. All right. Now, just a couple things with this. I'm going to go to my login screen and just show you why you need this membership if you are going to be serious about card counting. First off, Colin is the best over there at Blackjack Apprenticeship. And I just want to show you, kind of hone in on one thing, and that's the pro betting software. This alone will save you more than $100. Here, if we have a $10,000 bankroll, let's say there's going to be 2 players at our table, okay? So just you and one other. And let's say that the dealer is pretty quick, all right? So we're going to go nice and fast. Here, we're going to be playing some double deck, right? You could also play 6 deck. Notice 6 deck, it's usually a little bit less EV. So personally, I like to lean towards double deck. All right, the unit amount, let's say it's a $10 table. And we're going to be playing, let's go with a 1 to 10 bet spread with 2 spots. All right, that's kind of similar to what you've seen in some of my videos. All right, and also there's pretty good penetration here. Let's say it's 1.5, so 26 cards after the cut card. And resplitting aces are allowed. All right, but surrender, we're going to say, is not allowed at this particular casino. Okay, there's some other things that you can, hit. If you're in Europe, there's a European no-hole card that you can click on there. I wouldn't play anything besides 3 to 2 blackjack, but anyway, there's also a trip bankroll if you want to see things about that. It tells you how likely you are to lose a certain amount of money that you take onto a trip. But we're just going to be focused on the regular bankroll here today. And then you can start playing with these different bets. So right now I have it at a 1 to 10 bet spread where we are playing 2 spots after we gain the advantage. So it looks like maybe here, or I guess at 0 and lower, it's negative. So it has a negative edge, it says. But at 1, I guess 1 is pretty close to 0, so we're not going to raise the bets just yet. But then another thing you'll notice is that these increments are a little bit wonky, right? There's like 20s and 30s. We know in the casino, the chips are more in sizes of like 25, especially when you get up to those bigger amounts. And so let's do this. Let's say we're going to play through some of the negative counts. Let's call that 10. I wouldn't advise this. If possible, you don't want to play through any. But a lot of times with double deck, especially, they don't let you have mid-shoot entry. So for 3, we're still going to say this is 0. We're going to try to get up and maybe use, quote unquote, use the bathroom if we can when those counts are really negative. All right, but otherwise, let's say we're betting $10, -1, -2, and 0. And then when we start to gain the edge, I'm going to make this 25. All right, let's go $25 here. And then at a true 2, we're also going to be betting 25, but we're going to raise it to 2 spots. See how it says this is times 1? This means 1 spot. This means 2 spots. All right, and then I'm going to bump this up to 50. Again, you can see kind of our risk of ruin down here is slowly going up because we're playing with more money. $75 at a true 4. And I like to kind of cap this out usually around a true 5. And here we're going to say this is $100. Again, this is pretty similar to some of the bet spreads you've seen in my videos. All right, like this. And this gives us right around a 2% risk of ruin. I would say for most beginners, if you are at 2% or below, oh, why is this 98? Let's make that 100. There we go. If you're at 2% or below, that's usually pretty good. And so if this is too much for you, you can ramp this down a little bit. Maybe at a true one, you do just double your 10 and you make this 20 or something, right? And if I do that, it goes down just a little bit. If you still don't like that, maybe you want to cap this off starting at 75. But anyway, the thing is you can play with these numbers quite a bit and adjust it to your bankroll and your risk tolerance. Okay, 75. And now, yeah, this is a lot better. So we're still making the expected value is still $67. Okay, but our risk of ruin dropped quite a bit to 1.21%, which is definitely a range I would probably play in. If you want, you can see what it would do if you play through all these negatives. Watch this. Watch what happens to the risk of ruin when I put in another $10 here. Yeah, it jumps up almost a full percent to 2.1. You're still decent EV, but by playing those negatives, it hurts just a little bit. Okay, one other thing to mention is the N0 down here. This is about the number of hours, if you're playing perfectly, it takes to kind of quote unquote ensure that you're going to make money. Okay, this is, I think, when you kind of overcome that one standard deviation and the amount of hours almost assures that you're going to do that. All right, and then at the bottom here, notice this says variance visualizer. If you click on this, this kind of simulates what it would look like if it has a single card counter, what their projected wins might be. All right, and these different bands are within one standard deviation, 2 standard deviations of the mean of your expected value. Okay, so this person was doing pretty good. They were above EV almost the whole way. There was a couple times they dipped below, but they were gaining money except for, after right at the beginning. Then they were down just a little bit, right? But they went from $10,000 bankroll, what they started with, and then they finished up here at almost $56,000. All right, so I think all of us would take that. Right now, that was after 500 hours played. Now you can also switch this, so instead of just one player, you can do up to 9. Let's do 4 players though, so it's not too congested in here. I'm gonna hit run simulation. And this time our players were a little bit all below EV, okay? But that is a possibility. They still were gaining some money. This started at 10,000 and now our top one was 38,000, all right? So this just kind of shows you the realistic swings that card counting can provide. If I hit run sim one more time, notice this guy dipped below 2 standard deviations, right? That is possible. They were at one point $350 hours in, and they were down around 6,000. However, the other guy up here, they got all the way up to $65,000, okay? So there's quite the range that you could potentially be in, but this is a great tool to see just exactly how this works. All right, so this is one thing that you might want to look at when you have a Blackjack Apprenticeship membership. You also have podcasts. Casino 411 tells you the types of games at different places. There's a forum. If I go back to the homepage here, yeah, there's the members forum, which I don't want to necessarily get into. You can check that out if you become a member, but some of the stuff is a little bit private. All right, the video course that Colin puts on is fantastic. There's charts for every kind of game, whether H17, S17, expanded deviations, whatever you need there. And then the training suite, I'm going to click this, but we're not going to necessarily look at too much this, but there's running count drills, basic strategy drills, true count drills, deviation drills. And then my favorite is the test out, where if you kind of set up these parameters, it'll test to see how well you know some of this stuff or not. So for example, it gives you a bet spread to use. Let's just try one here. If I have a 15 versus dealer 6, of course, we're going to stand on that. And the dealer drew to 17, so we lost. But you can go ahead and if you make a mistake, it tells you what that mistake is. And then you can hopefully learn from that. So like here, this should be a hit, but watch what happens if I say stand, for example. See, it yells at me, and then you can hit more information. It tells you what the running count was, what the true count was, and you can learn from your mistake there. Okay, so that's Blackjack Apprenticeship. Again, they are raising their prices just a little bit to about $100 more. So over the next couple days, if I were you, I would definitely get this while it's a little bit cheaper. And if you use the link in my pinned comment, so like here's an example from a different video where I have Blackjack Apprenticeship. All right, if you were to click on this, I do get a little bit of kickback from them because I am an affiliate, and I would really appreciate that, especially if you guys like my videos. This is a great way to help support my channel. And also, if you want to take your card counting seriously at all, you need a Blackjack Apprenticeship membership. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, until next time, this is A1 Blackjack.